King Charles' jealousy over Princess Diana went too far. Imagine being adored by millions around the world, yet feeling completely alone at home. This was Princess Diana's life. Caught in a marriage filled with love, heartbreak, and deep jealousy. King Charles wasn't just envious of Princess Diana's charm and connection with the public. His jealousy pushed him to take actions that many would find hard to believe. From monitoring her every move to limiting her freedom and even using their children as pawns, his insecurity turned into a destructive force that changed their lives forever. How could a marriage that began with such promise unravel so painfully? And what does this reveal about the price of fame, power, and control in one of the most famous families in the world? Stay with us as we uncover the hidden truths behind one of history's most talked about royal relationships. You won't believe how far his jealousy really went. Number 1. Public humiliation. King Charles' jealousy over Princess Diana went beyond private arguments and often spilled into public humiliation. He would belittle Princess Diana in front of their children, Prince William and Prince Harry, as well as in front of royal staff. Witnesses have recounted instances where King Charles made snide comments about Princess Diana's intelligence or her public appeal. For example, when Princess Diana was praised for her charitable work or her ability to connect with people, King Charles would make sarcastic remarks to downplay her efforts. This constant undermining wasn't just about embarrassment. It was a way to assess control and make Princess Diana feel inferior. For someone as warm and caring as Princess Diana, being mocked by her husband in front of her children must have been heartbreaking. Over time, this treatment wore down Princess Diana's self-esteem and confidence. The public may have adored her, but at home, she often felt unsupported and undervalued. Number 2. Surveillance. Jealousy can make people act in extreme ways. And King Charles took his mistrust of Princess Diana to shocking levels by having her phone tapped and her movements monitored. This invasion of privacy created a suffocating atmosphere for Princess Diana. She was reportedly aware that her conversations were being overheard and that her every move was being watched, even when she was simply trying to live her life. Such surveillance wasn't just a breach of trust, but also a clear sign of King Charles' insecurities. Friends have shared that Princess Diana grew increasingly anxious, knowing that her actions were constantly under scrutiny. It's hard to imagine how isolating and exhausting it must have been to live like this, always second-guessing who might be listening or watching. Surveillance is usually meant to protect someone, but in Princess Diana's case, it was a tool of control and manipulation. It painted a picture of a life where even basic freedoms were denied to her. Number 3. Control over finances. Financial control is a subtle but powerful form of manipulation, and King Charles used it to keep Princess Diana dependent on him. Despite being part of one of the richest families in the world, Princess Diana had limited access to money. King Charles ensured that her finances were tightly controlled, forcing her to ask him for funds even for personal expenses. This dynamic wasn't just degrading, but also a way to strip Princess Diana of her independence. By holding the purse strings, King Charles could dictate what Princess Diana could or couldn't do. Imagine being a global icon adored by millions, but still having to beg for basic financial support. It was a way for King Charles to maintain dominance in their relationship, even as Princess Diana's popularity far outshone his. Financial dependence made it harder for Princess Diana to leave or assert herself, creating yet another layer of control in an already strained marriage. Number 4. Restricting freedom. Princess Diana's ability to connect with people and her passion for humanitarian work made her a global icon. But King Charles' jealousy turned these qualities into points of contention. He reportedly restricted her freedom to travel alone or pursue her charitable interests. Princess Diana's visits to hospitals, AIDS clinics, and war zones were often met with resistance from King Charles, who saw these efforts as overshadowing his own royal duties. By limiting her freedom, King Charles tried to ensure that Princess Diana remained under his influence and within the confines of his expectations. For Princess Diana, these restrictions were not just frustrating, but deeply demoralizing. Her humanitarian work gave her a sense of purpose and identity, yet she had to fight for every opportunity to help others. This constant battle for autonomy added to the tension in their marriage, showing how jealousy can stifle even the most genuine intentions. Number 5. Emotional abuse. Emotional abuse is often harder to see than physical abuse, but its impact can be just as damaging. In Princess Diana's case, King Charles' jealousy often manifested as guilt-tripping and angry outbursts. He would blame her for his unhappiness, making her feel as though she was the source of their marital problems. Over time, these accusations took a toll on Princess Diana's mental health, leaving her feeling inadequate and unworthy. Emotional abuse can be insidious because it makes the victim doubt their own perceptions and feelings. Princess Diana was no exception. She began to question herself and her role in the marriage. Friends and confidants have shared how deeply these manipulations affected her, isolating her even further. For someone as compassionate as Princess Diana, being blamed for the struggles in her relationship was devastating. It's a reminder of how emotional abuse can erode a person's sense of self, even when they appear strong and confident to the outside world. Number 6. Manipulating the media. King Charles' jealousy didn't just remain behind closed doors. It spilled into the public eye through manipulation of the media. He reportedly worked with trusted allies to plant stories that portrayed Princess Diana in a negative light. Articles emerged suggesting that she was unstable or difficult to work with, painting her as a problem within the royal family. This media narrative wasn't accidental. It was carefully curated to turn public sympathy away from Princess Diana and back toward King Charles. Despite these efforts, the public largely saw through the smear campaign, continuing to embrace Princess Diana for her warmth and authenticity. However, these manipulations deeply affected Princess Diana's mental health. She felt like she was constantly under attack, not just from the palace, but from the tabloids as well. It's hard to imagine the loneliness and frustration she must have felt, knowing her own husband was behind some of the stories tarnishing her reputation. The constant battle to maintain her public image took a heavy toll. Number 7. Using the children. Perhaps one of the most heartbreaking tactics King Charles used was involving their children, Prince William and Prince Harry, in their conflicts. He reportedly attempted to turn the boys against their mother by making negative comments about Princess Diana in their presence. This manipulation wasn't just unfair to Princess Diana, but also deeply harmful to the children. They adored their mother, and being placed in the middle of their parents' disputes must have been incredibly confusing and upsetting for them. King Charles' threats to take the children away were even more devastating. Princess Diana's love for her sons was one of the most defining aspects of her life, and using them as pawns in their marital struggles was a cruel way to maintain control over her. These actions not only strained Princess Diana, but also risked creating emotional wounds for Prince William and Prince Harry, who were forced to navigate the complexities of their parents' troubled relationship. Number 8. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is a form of psychological abuse where someone manipulates another into questioning their own perceptions, and King Charles reportedly used this tactic with Princess Diana. He would twist facts or deny events to make her doubt her memory and feelings. For someone already grappling with self-esteem issues, this was particularly damaging. Friends of Princess Diana have shared how often she felt like she was losing her grip on reality, unable to trust her own instincts. Gaslighting isn't just about control. It's about eroding someone's sense of self, and for Princess Diana, it made an already challenging life even more unbearable. Over time, these tactics isolated her further, making it harder for her to reach out for help. It's a stark reminder of how psychological abuse can leave scars that aren't visible, but are deeply felt. Number 9. Isolating her. Isolation is a common tactic used by those trying to maintain control, and King Charles worked to cut Princess Diana off from her support network. He reportedly discouraged her from seeing friends and even limited her contact with her own. Family. By keeping her isolated, King Charles ensured that Princess Diana had fewer people to turn to for support or advice. This loneliness was compounded by the immense pressure of royal life, leaving Princess Diana feeling trapped. Friends of the princess have recounted how she often felt like an outsider within the royal family, despite her global fame. Isolation isn't just about physical separation. It's also about creating a sense of emotional abandonment. And for Princess Diana, this isolation deepened her struggles with mental health. It's heartbreaking to think of someone so beloved by the public feeling so alone in her personal life. Number 10. Monitoring her mail. King Charles' control extended to monitoring Princess Diana's mail, intercepting letters and keeping tabs on her communication. This invasion of privacy was yet another way to limit her independence and keep her under his control. For Princess Diana, writing letters was often a way to connect with the outside world and express her thoughts freely. Having even this small freedom taken away must have been crushing. The act of monitoring her mail wasn't just about surveillance. It was about sending a message that Princess Diana had no personal space or autonomy. It's hard to imagine the frustration and helplessness she must have felt, knowing her private correspondence wasn't safe. This level of control only added to the many ways Princess Diana's life was constrained, making her feel more like a prisoner than a princess. Number 11. Restricting her access. Princess Diana's popularity wasn't just a blessing. It became a source of resentment for King Charles, who reportedly restricted her access to certain royal spaces and events. By doing this, he ensured she would feel like an outsider within her own family. This exclusion was deliberate, designed to make Princess Diana question her place in the royal hierarchy. For someone already struggling with feelings of isolation, these restrictions only deepened her sense of rejection. Even within her own home, Princess Diana often felt unwelcome or out of place, further driving a wedge between her and the royal institution. This was not just about physical exclusion. It was also a way to psychologically control Princess Diana, ensuring she never felt entirely secure in her role. Number 12. Publicly criticizing her. King Charles' jealousy often came out in public criticisms of Princess Diana, which were both hurtful and humiliating. Whether it was during formal events or within private royal circles, King Charles didn't shy away from belittling Princess Diana's efforts or questioning her abilities. These remarks weren't just cutting. They were part of a pattern of undermining her confidence. Witnesses noted how Princess Diana would often try to hide her embarrassment, but it was clear that such comments affected her deeply. Public criticism from a spouse is damaging in any relationship, but in a high-profile marriage like theirs, it took on a much larger scale. It wasn't just Princess Diana who suffered. These moments also revealed cracks in their marriage to the world, making the royal couple's struggles a subject of public speculation. Number 13. Threatening to take the children. One of the most devastating ways King Charles exerted control over Princess Diana was by threatening to take Prince William and Prince Harry away from her. This was a cruel and manipulative tactic, exploiting Princess Diana's deep love for her sons. For Princess Diana, her children were her anchor, providing her with strength and purpose even in the darkest times. King Charles knew this and used it to his advantage, often making veiled threats about custody during their arguments. Such actions not only caused immense emotional pain for Princess Diana, but also added to the toxic environment the boys were exposed to. For a mother who was as devoted as Princess Diana, these threats were among the most painful ways King Charles' jealousy manifested, leaving her feeling powerless and vulnerable. Number 14. Limiting her charitable work. Princess Diana's humanitarian work was one of her greatest passions, but King Charles often viewed it as a threat to his own image. Reports suggest that he limited her involvement in certain causes, either by restricting her schedule or discouraging her from taking on projects that might outshine his efforts. This was particularly frustrating for Princess Diana, who found meaning and solace in her charitable endeavors. From her work with AIDS patients to her campaign against landmines, Princess Diana's causes brought her global admiration and helped redefine the role of modern royalty. By curbing her ability to make an impact, King Charles wasn't just controlling her movements. He was trying to dim her light. However, Princess Diana's determination often shone through, as she found ways to make her voice heard despite the restrictions. Number 15. Monitoring her phone calls. King Charles' need for control extended to listening in on Princess Diana's phone conversations, further eroding her sense of privacy. This wasn't just an invasion of personal space. It was a calculated move to keep tabs on her relationships and movements. For Princess Diana, this constant surveillance was suffocating, leaving her feeling as though she couldn't trust anyone or speak freely. Friends of Princess Diana have shared how she became increasingly paranoid, knowing that even her most private conversations might not be safe. This kind of monitoring was deeply unsettling, and a clear sign of how far King Charles' jealousy had gone. It wasn't just about mistrust. It was about maintaining dominance in every aspect of Princess Diana's life, even her communication. Such actions painted a picture of a relationship built on control rather than trust, leaving Princess Diana more isolated than ever. Number 16. Using royal protocol to limit her autonomy. King Charles often hid behind royal protocol to limit Princess Diana's freedom and autonomy. By citing the rigid rules of royal life, he effectively curtailed her ability to make decisions or take independent actions. This wasn't just about tradition. It was a way for King Charles to control Princess Diana under the guise of upholding royal expectations. For Princess Diana, this constant restriction must have felt suffocating, as her natural charisma and warmth clashed with the rigid structures imposed upon her. These limitations went beyond formal duties. They also extended into her personal life, dictating how she could dress, speak, and behave in public. For a woman as vibrant and modern as Princess Diana, living under such constraints was a daily battle. Over time, these restrictions not only strained her marriage, but also highlighted the growing disconnect between Princess Diana and the royal institution. Number 17. Manipulating her schedule. Controlling Princess Diana's schedule was another way King Charles exerted power over her. By dictating her appointments and engagements, he ensured that she had little room to pursue her own interests. This manipulation wasn't just about logistics. It was a way to keep Princess Diana under his thumb, restricting her from building an independent identity. For Princess Diana, whose humanitarian work was a source of personal fulfillment, having her schedule constantly altered or limited was incredibly frustrating. It also meant she had fewer opportunities to connect with the public in her authentic way, which was one of her greatest strengths. By controlling her time, King Charles effectively stifled her ability to grow beyond the shadow of their marriage, ensuring that she remained tethered to his version of royal life. Number 18. Limiting her access to the media. Princess Diana's ability to communicate with the public was one of her most powerful tools, but King Charles worked to limit her access to the media. Whether by restricting interviews or controlling press opportunities, he ensured that Princess Diana couldn't fully share her story. This control was partly rooted in fear. King Charles knew that Princess Diana's authenticity resonated deeply with the public, often outshining his own public image. Despite these efforts, Princess Diana found ways to make her voice heard, most famously in her Panorama interview where she candidly discussed her struggles. Still, the constant battle to manage her public image took a toll on Princess Diana, leaving her feeling silenced and misunderstood by the very people she sought to connect with. Number 19. Using emotional blackmail. Emotional blackmail was another tactic King Charles used to maintain control over Princess Diana. He would often guilt her into compliance, making her feel responsible for his unhappiness. These manipulations were deeply harmful, leaving Princess Diana trapped in a cycle of self-doubt and guilt. Emotional blackmail isn't just about control. It's about eroding someone's sense of agency. And for Princess Diana, this was particularly devastating. Friends and confidants have shared how these tactics left her feeling powerless, unable to assert herself in the face of King Charles' constant demands. Over time, this form of manipulation further strained their marriage, leaving Princess Diana more isolated and emotionally drained. Number 20. Destroying her confidence. Ultimately, King Charles' jealousy had a profound impact on Princess Diana's confidence. Through a combination of public criticism, private manipulation, and constant control, he eroded her sense of self-worth. For a woman as beloved and accomplished as Princess Diana, this loss of confidence was deeply tragic. She went from being a vibrant, compassionate figure to someone who often doubted her own abilities and decisions. Despite this, Princess Diana's resilience shone through as she continued to inspire millions with her warmth and humanity. However, the toll of living under such jealousy and control serves as a stark reminder of the destructive power of unchecked insecurity in relationships. King Charles' jealousy and the subsequent actions to control and manipulate Princess Diana not only strained their marriage, but also had a profound impact on Princess Diana's confidence and well-being. Through public humiliation, emotional abuse, and attempts to isolate her, King Charles' actions revealed the destructive power of jealousy. What do you think caused the most tension between King Charles and Princess Diana? Was it jealousy, or were there deeper issues at play? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like the video, share it with others who might find this video interesting, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth video content like this. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!